Welcome back to None of Your Beeswax Apiary. Today we want to talk about prepping your hives for winter. It's September 7th here today in East Tennessee, and we've been prepping our hives for about a month or so now. If you're not already prepping for winter, you're a little bit behind. It's not too late to get started, but it's time to get a crack on it depending upon where you live. We first started prepping by pulling off the excess honey. We've pulled off all the excess honey off the hives and made sure that they've got plenty of food going into winter. The hives that were light, we started feeding. And that bee was a little bad right there. The hives that were light, we started feeding. All of our production hives, as a matter of fact, had plenty of honey left on them, so we didn't have to feed any of those. We only been feeding the nucs that we made to overwinter because obviously they didn't have the amount of resources they needed. So we've been feeding them, and definitely get started on your mite treatment. As we've done in the previous videos, we're in the middle of an Apiary treatment of all of our production hives, and we're continuing that for the next 2 weeks. And today, along with putting the next round of Apiary in, we are going to, or Apigard, not Apiary. We're going to go through our overwintered hives, or overwintered nucs, the nucs we made up to overwinter, and we're going to see how they're doing. There's a couple that we need to pull feeders off because they're plenty heavy enough, we don't need to feed them anymore, and a couple of our smaller ones we're just going to take a peek in and see how they're doing. They're going to be single frames or single deeps going into winter, so we just want to make sure that there's enough bees, that there's nothing going on in there, and just take a quick peek. So this here is one of our overwintered nucs that we've been feeding. It's also one of the hives that we combined. We took a deep box from another one that wasn't doing so good and combined it with a queen that was doing really good here. So we've been feeding them. They are pretty heavy, so we're going to go ahead and take this feeder off. They don't need any more food right now. We may give them a little bit more food closer to winter time, depending upon how much they eat. But we've got some goldenrod and aster and these fall blooms coming in. It's been a little cool and rainy, so hopefully we'll have a good enough flow that we won't need to feed them anymore. So we're going to go ahead and pop the lid, take this feeder off, and remove what's left of this paper here, because we didn't get back in there and remove that paper from where we did the combine. Off as we can back into the hive, and what I do is I just like to take the feeder and stick it there at the entrance so that the remaining bees can go back in. It's kind of cool out right now, so I don't want to really dig into these hives too deep and pull frames out to chill the brood and stuff. We're probably right around between 55 and 60 degrees, so I don't want to dive too deep in and pull too much out, but I can just tell by looking down in through there that they've got a lot of stores built up. I'm going to go ahead and remove this box. Just kind of stand it on its side right here. All the paper, you can see where we did the combine, where they chewed their way through, and they've intermixed between the two hives. So we're going to go ahead and just get rid of the rest of this paper. They would eventually chew it and remove it from the hive themselves, but there's no use making them do extra work. Hive beetle smash. A couple small hive beetles in here, not too many. Bottom box looks pretty good. That should be where all the brood that she's laying should be. Top box we want to be mostly stores, because in the winter time the bees will go from the bottom and move up to the top. So you want their food up top. This box was a little heavier, so that's what they're working on. Put the lid back on here. And what I do for checking them for stores for the winters and the hive beetle smash is I just take the bottom box and just kind of lift it. If it's got a lot of weight to it that you've got to put a lot of effort into it, that's exactly what you want. This one's kind of, I would say, about medium. they got enough to go through winter if it was winter right now. But by the time we get around to the colder temperatures, we may have to feed them a little bit more. We'll have to wait and see. But they're good for now for sure. And the reason I don't want to leave these feeders on too much longer is if you leave the feeders on and the bees decide they want to build comb, they'll build comb up in through here and clog this up, and it makes a mess sometimes. So I don't leave them on any longer than we need to. Okay, so that was one of our double deep overwinter nucs that we created this summer with post-summer solstice queens that we're going to overwinter and sell first thing in the spring. This is one of our single colony or single deep nucs, and the reason they're single deep is two reasons. Number one, they weren't big enough to put the second deep on at the time. Number two, we don't have any more drawn comb. We've used all the drawn comb we had, and putting foundation on this time of year and getting them to draw it out and stuff like that is futile work. You can get some drawn out, but for them to draw it out, fill it, and be able to survive, it's just creating extra work for them. I'd rather than put the resources into storing honey and keeping everything good in the hive and just overwinter them as a single deep. So we're just going to take a quick look in here. Good coverage of bees, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 frames of bees. I just want to kind of see what's on these end frames right here. See if they're drawn out. I can't remember whether I put drawn out or partially drawn out frames in here at the end. So yeah, those are partially drawn out. They won't do much with those. I'll have to, in the springtime, we'll put that in the middle of the brood chamber and we'll get them to draw them out. But if we happen to have any extra frames to throw in there, I might throw an extra frame or two in, but replace them, but it'll be fine. They can overwinter on those 8. We'll just make sure we kept them good and fed. This one is drawn. They put a little bit of honey away on the top up there. Checking the weight. They got a decent amount of weight for a single deep. They're not going to get real heavy. You don't want them to get real heavy in a single deep, because what you don't want to do is you don't want them to plug all these frames with honey and not have anywhere to lay bees. Because one thing of getting them through winter is you got to have a good population of bees in there to keep the hive warm. So you don't want to plug them up with feeding them. That's why this hive right here, we've been using our jar feeders. It gives them just a little bit of sugar syrup for them to take, but they don't get a whole lot where they want to store it away and clog up those frames. So we want to keep giving them sugar syrup. We want that queen to keep laying. We want a good big strong hive going into winter, so there's lots of bees in there to keep them warm. That way when it comes out of winter in the spring, about February or March, she'll start laying. We'll add another box and they will explode first thing in the spring. So we're going to go ahead and fill this jar up, top them off, and move on to the next one. Okay, so that's it for today. We're going through all the hives. We've put the Apiguard treatments in them. We've gone through and checked the ones for food, removed feeders from the ones that don't need any more food for right now. Right now, the ones that we are feeding, we're feeding 1-to-1 sugar syrup. And the reason we're doing that is, like I said, we want those queens to keep on laying. That's our smaller hives. That's the nucs we just started this late summer, and we want to have a big population going into winter, so we've been feeding them 1-to-1 to stimulate that queen laying. If you're looking to put weight on the hive and you've got a good population and they just need some food to store for overwinter, then you want to go to the 2-to-1 stuff. All of our production colonies are in good shape weight-wise, so we're not going to feed any 2-to-1. We'll just keep feeding those nucs 1-to-1 here, and then get them ready. And we'll be putting our winter feeder boards on with the hard sugar candy and probably around Thanksgiving or so. We'll start prepping those here within the next month or so, because it takes a little time to do that, and we'll make a video to show you how we prep those. One other word on nucs: if you are local to us and you're looking to start beekeeping next year or want to expand your apiary, you want to get a couple of nucs from us, go ahead and contact us either through our Facebook page, leave a comment below, or you can text me on my number. My number's on our Facebook page and stuff like that, and we'll put you on the list for nucs in the spring. We've already got probably about 10 nucs 10 people wanting nucs for next spring, and I expect we'll have probably about somewhere between 25 and 30. So we start a list and we just go down the list and contact people in the order that we put them on the list. So if you're looking for nucs, let us know. Be sure to like and subscribe to the page, leave any comments below. We're currently at 183 subscribers. We'd like to get 200 by the end of the year. And I just got buzzed in the head by another bee. So yeah, I've kind of made them mad, and I can tell you that getting stung on the ear tip is kind of sensitive, so that didn't feel too good, but we're all good. So go ahead and help us get to the 200 followers by the end of the year. Thanks.